All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Image Builder Office Hours meeting. We do this every 2 weeks on Mondays. We are a project of the SIG cluster Lifecycle Kubernetes umbrella project, and therefore we abide by their rules of conduct. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. Which, as you probably know well, boils down to please try not to talk over each other. Try to use the raise hand feature in Zoom, so we don't usually have any issues in this area, but I just thought I would say so. At the beginning of the meeting, we usually give a minute for anybody who's new here for the first time. If you want to raise your hand or just unmute and say why you're here or something, this is a good time to do that. I'll be quiet for a few seconds.
I'm looking for the raise hand button, so
that is the challenge. No, you don't need to raise your hand.
Just go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey. So me and Lalita are from the VMware team, which is now Broadcom. So we are working on a project where we are using a cluster API, and for that we need a OVA, and for that we are using the image builder. We are trying to use image builder, and we are facing few issues there. So just wanted to discuss about those in this office hours.
Great.
Yeah, so to give a little bit more on what Giri mentioned, for the project that we are working on, so the main challenge is that we wanted to use, cluster, the image builder, the cluster API itself is packaged with some Ubuntu 22.04 OVA. But we don't want to use that, but rather we wanted to use Ubuntu 22.04 image that is blessed by GR security team, right? And we have actually a base OVA which is blessed by them. So we wanted to use the same and basically publish an OVA using the image builder. But yeah, Giri is facing few issues. That is our requirement, and why we could not use the default Ubuntu 22.04 published by Cluster API itself.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for coming. We can we could just get right into that, unless you want to do the EKS Anywhere discussion.
No, let's start with that. Seeing as we're on it already.
I'll move it down in the agenda. So if you two want to get specific about what issues you're having, I mean, that was a pretty good summary, but we can get into it.
Yeah, so I can start with that. So we actually are trying to build Ubuntu 22.04 using vSphere 8. So the issue we are facing is like when we do make Ubuntu 22.04 vSphere, whatever the command is, right? It starts building the image onto the vSphere. I have a vSphere JSON. So it picks up the credentials and everything, and it starts building the image. However, when it specifically for Ubuntu 22.04, it gets stuck at the stage where it waits for SSH to become available. So it gets an IP. It gets so the starting things are like just fine, but when it comes to waiting for SSH, it waits for forever. So after 4 hours, it gets timed out. But if I go to the vSphere and see the console, so it started building, and at some stage it got stuck. So there is no error in the console as well. So it's so that's the puzzling part. So we couldn't figure it out why it's happening. And just for a trial, I tried to build 20.04 Ubuntu, and that works fine. With the default image releases that are there in the image builder. So not sure what I'm missing for 22.04. So just wanted to check with you all about that.
Yeah, that's a pretty That's a pretty clear description of the problem. Does anybody have any ideas? Go ahead, Marcus.
I don't have an idea, but I have just found, I'm just going to post it in the thing, but I found that we do have an open issue that I think is the same that you're seeing. Unfortunately, it's still open and hasn't got a solution.
Okay.
Been
I'm
open
just
for
having
a
a little
while.
look through now to see if any. Yeah, it has been going for a while, it seems. Trying to see if there's any workarounds that are in there.
Yeah, this is the same thing, it looks like.
Yeah.
Foreground is one.
So somebody says that there was some
A little more
recommendation.
info there. Or maybe not. Failed to unlock. Failure launching VM, QEMU failed to start. Interesting.
Apparently, someone has said that using the 2204.2 ISO worked for them, but I don't know how old that is now. Has this always been a problem for, like, have you ever been able to build 2204, or has it been a problem every single time?
It's been a problem every single time.
Okay.
So it's pretty consistent.
Drew, I see you've got your hand raised. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I don't know how relevant this is. So when I was doing this with QEMU, what I was finding. So you said you can go. Sorry, let me context this here. So when you go to the vSphere console, is it just sat on the pre-seed stuff, or is it actually done a reboot or anything?
In the console, what I see the last message is host and DNS resolution or something, and that is okay.
So it's not doing the pre-seed bits then. It's done the installation of the operating system and it's actually onto the SSH section. Right.
Right.
No, the only reason I ask is because I noticed when I was doing the QEMU, I got it waiting for SSH problem with 2204, and the problem it had was it was rebooting back into the ISO rather than into the installed operating system. So I was just making sure something like that wasn't happening. Right.
Just quickly, I have also just found another issue that is specific to OVA that I've just posted in the agenda notes as well, which looks like it might be a bit more specific to that.
Oh yeah.
Looking at the last comment in there, it looks like they were successful with those changes.
Okay. What are the changes?
Although I'm not knowledgeable enough about vSphere to know what that.
This is my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really able to build it outside of what we have in CI, so I don't have much insight into vSphere. I applied the bug patch to Packer node, then I redefined simple bash script. Wow. So there's a bunch of changes here, but then they didn't make a PR in the end. I wanted to make a PR.
So some troubleshooting, I guess. Have you tried to hit the endpoint yourself with an SSH connection just to see if it even responds to you, just to make sure this isn't something happening on the Packer side?
No, it doesn't respond at all. So it just says connection timed out. I mean, not allowed or something on 22.
I'm wondering if something's going wrong on the cloud init side. So it's maybe not sorting the SSH side of things out. Can you hit the IP? I'm guessing the IP that is being assigned to the node is accessible from where you are, though.
Yes.
Like that's not routed off in any way, or right? Okay.
Right. I can ping the IP, whatever it got.
Okay. Yeah. This sounds like cloud init failing.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure why.
the comments in that issue do suggest it might be related to user data.
Mm.
So if you, yeah, that one there
Mm.
suggests that it might be user data is missing or something, but I don't without looking into the actual source and stuff. I'm not sure what
I'm
What
using the
exactly the
default
issue
user
is?
data.
Sorry, say again.
I was saying like I'm using the default user data. I haven't changed anything there. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is because other people are also seeing this issue, it's not just you. Maybe it is something
Right.
we have missed with 2204 and
Sure.
because like in our CI/CD environment, we have no vSphere cluster that we can actually test these on. So we rely a lot on people like yourself to report when things break and stuff. So
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some of these hacks or workarounds are worth trying just to see where the problem is.
yeah. I mean, it is something specific to Ubuntu 2204. Because like I said, 2004 works. And I know from my
Yes.
experience, Flatcar works because that's what we build for vSphere. So
Well,
yeah, it sounds like it is something to do with either cloud generated user data or that kind of area where things may be wrong. Maybe it's worth posting into this issue and seeing if this Frederick is able to provide a PR or point us in the right direction as to where a PR might be needed. Because I'm not sure exactly where that change that he's referring to is, like what files that was patched on.
yeah, it's a little ambiguous here. Yeah, I don't know if any of that helps you guys directly. The problem is none of us have any real great tools to debug vSphere. You probably actually have better access to it than we do. So it's kind of a black box for us.
Mm.
So
Well,
should
we
I
would
try
love
this
we would love to
patch?
help however we can. So I don't know, maybe like trying out some of the things in this, some of the suggestions here, following up on this issue,
Okay.
and maybe posting in Slack. And
Mhm.
because there are a lot of people who use Image Builder, obviously some of them use vSphere and other tools, and we just need to flush them out of the woodwork, and maybe someone knows something that we maintainers do not.
Okay.
So it looks like the file that they're on about is, oh, I've just lost it now because my browser crashed. One second.
Oh, fun.
Where is that just gone? Packer node is the one that they're referring to. So I'm just going to drop it in the notes again. And I don't see any mention of user data as a property on there. So maybe it is that's just missing completely, and we need to add it into there.
Down here when they know out the
Yeah,
user
that
data.
one. Yeah.
I'm not sure where that is. VApp properties.
Well, if you look at the next comment from Frederick, he said, "I applied the above patch to
Packer node. Okay.
packers-node.json."
Okay.
And I've just had a look at, like I said, I've just linked it, but I've just had a look at that, and there's no reference to that user data property variable at all. So maybe it is we just completely have missed it on there.
Mm.
Could be.
But then again, that doesn't really explain why Ubuntu 2004 would work.
And
What is the user data field that he's passing? Is it some password related? No, in the down, he's passing the properties, right? Yeah, hold on here. What is this user underscore data that he's passing?
That looks like base 64 encoded something. And I think that's what I was just about to check myself to see what he's actually passing. Oh, sorry, I'm kicking my microphone. Apologies. Let me just have a quick look at that.
I've got it here. So it's passing in some users, some CH password, and some SSH password auth. Let me post the actual
Yeah.
decrypted. Put it in the meeting notes as well. This is probably going to go. Yeah, it went about as formatted as
you
I
thought.
expected, but
It's just a really short cloud config.
yeah. But it is related to passwords and SSH, so that sounds like the right sort of area, right?
Setting SSH password off. True. It's making passwordless sudo true. And it's saying the builder user, which is the user that is happening during Ansible and stuff, or during Packer, is what? CH password list? I'm not sure what that means. Well, I don't know. Does that give you guys anything to try? Or is this stuff you've done before?
I think what we can do is like we can go through the thread and whatever the patches they have suggested, we can apply those and try it out. And if it still fails, then we can update the thread, and that is the best way to go. Okay,
that would be great.
Yeah. Feel free to reach out to us on Slack if you need any pointers or anything.
Great.
Obviously we'll do as best as we can without being able to run this ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, I have a
Thanks a
follow-up.
lot.
Yeah, I have a follow-up. Sorry, folks, actually. Yes, Giri is
Yes,
going
please.
to try it out for sure. But the main, as I mentioned, right, the main goal for us to try out this image builder and not using the default images published, or we wanted to use the GR security blessed OVAs for whatever Ubuntu version, right? What is your recommendation actually? Because we wanted to ensure that whenever we have a Ubuntu base that has some security patches, we should be able to use this image builder and produce an OVA. But this image builder also is a moving target, right? You guys might be having fixes, etc. So how can we ensure that these two are always like better coordinated? Is there any thoughts here?
Yeah, Marcus.
So in terms of better coordinated, I don't really have an answer for that. But in terms of being able to use your own base ISO for Ubuntu, your blessed version, there are variables that you can override in the variables that you provide when running the make command. So there's ISO_URL, which I've just linked to there, as well as ISO_checksum.
Okay.
If you can change those to point to the base value that you want to use rather than the default one, as long as both the URL and the checksum are updated and match, that should then use the image that you want as the base. An image builder should hopefully be able to run on top of that. Now, obviously, depending on what changes you've actually made to that image is whether or not image builder will successfully run or not, because there may be some requirements that are no longer there. I don't know what that might be off the top of my head, but that would be how you'd start off anyway.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So hopefully it should just be a case of update those values, run the make file with those values, and you're all good.
Okay. Got it.
Obviously, if you hit any issues after that with things not working or whatever, feel free to come back to us and we'll see if we can figure out what might be missing or what might need changing in the base image that you've got.
Okay. All right. Got it.
No worries.
Cool. Do we have any other comments or insights about the vSphere build here?
So I've just had a quick dig through while we're chatting away there, and it looks like, I can't say why it's happening, but it looks like there is a difference between 10204 and 2004. So 2004 is using a pre-seed, and there is a late command that manages the the builder, that section that Marcus has pasted, for the cloud config, that's done in the pre-seed, whereas 2204 is done via user data, and I'm wondering if something in the user data that needs adjusting itself, if that makes sense. I'm just going to paste it in now. Bear with me.
Yeah.
So I'll just drop this in once you finish typing there.
Sorry, done.
So that's the user data of 2204 that's being used. And then you've got this section here that seems to be doing it for 2004. So I'll just put 2204 and then 2204. So there is you can see there that all that's doing is just echoing that builder line for the no password. It's basically giving it pseudoless. That's all it's doing. Whereas there's nothing to do with SSH that I can see in here. So I'm wondering if some of the stuff we're doing in the user data for 2204, without digging into it further, I've not had a chance to actually read through it properly yet. Doesn't look like anything funky is going on. It just basically says install server and allow password in the user data. So maybe we just need to make a few adjustments in there. I'm not sure what off the top of my head yet. Obviously, that's something we need to look into.
That's a good pointer.
It's probably just a start point to look at, I guess. See what we can do with that. Unfortunately, I don't have vSphere to test any of this in theory.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. But that in my view, that would explain why there's a difference between 20 and 22, because they use different methods essentially. So to install the OS.
We can probably collaborate over Slack or something, and if you need
Yeah,
a
sure.
yeah, I can help with that.
I guess that's another point actually. If they're overriding the user data in theirs with that really minimal one, that it's going to be the user data in it. There's something in there that's not configured correctly.
Yeah, and they said like
so we just need to figure out what.
And they said nulling it out effectively worked for them. So
Yeah,
that does kind of point to something bad in the user data.
Mm-hmm. So we can do a little bit digging through there, have a look, and it's been a while since I've cloud initted, so you'll have to bear with me. Everything does it for me now, so
yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's continue this on Slack and in those issues, and
Sure.
hopefully we can find a solution. All right, let's move on to the EKS Anywhere discussion. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yep. So this is just to summarize from the last sync that we had. So during the office hours, we had some audio problems. Abe was able to join the call. Well, after a while, was able to join the call, but couldn't talk. Couldn't unmute. There were some weird issues going on. So what we did instead is we switched over to Slack, to a Slack huddle to continue the discussion. And I said on the recording for the last one that I will come back and update this time with how that turned out and what the decisions were. I've already posted it into Slack, but just so that we've got it on the recording here. The general outcome of that was any issues coming into Image Builder regarding EKS Anywhere, and they'd like us to send them in the direction of EKS Anywhere. If for no other reason than they are then able to understand the health and the issues that their users are facing. They will then triage those issues, and if it is determined that the issue that the user is facing is actually in Image Builder and not in any of the changes of EKS Anywhere, they will then open an issue with us that's more specific and useful for us to then investigate. Abe also said that he would try to keep an eye on things both in Slack and on the issues for things coming in related to EKS Anywhere. So I've already seen him replying to a few people in our Slack channel since we last spoke, kind of helping them out with EKS Anywhere related things, which is nice. And we also decided that if we don't find a more manageable way, if we find that this approach is not manageable, then we may look at including a new group within Image Builder that is specifically for EKS Anywhere maintainers that can then help collaborate within our issues and stuff. Go ahead, Matt.
That sounds great and entirely reasonable. Do we have, so someone opens an issue in Image Builder that clearly has some overlap with EKS Anywhere, do we have a specific protocol? Are we going to close the issue and open a new one over there? Or are we just going to comment, hey, maybe this is a better in EKS Anywhere, or are we not being that specific? I'm just curious.
We weren't that specific, but we generally said that we would do what we've already done so far and add a comment to the issues to point the user to EKS Anywhere to raise the issue first. We don't have we didn't agree on like a set, this is the exact process to go by, because yeah.
We probably don't need to. It's not an epidemic or anything really. And
yeah. I mean, we've only seen a handful of issues at most, so
yeah. And like you said,
it was just to get ahead of it.
Yeah, Abe's been really responsive and actually given us a couple of good core PRs and stuff too. So I'm much less worried about this than I was a couple weeks ago. It seems like we're
same.
We're
It was a
and we're
really good chat with
cooperating.
Abe.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sorry I missed it last time, but
That's fine.
Sounds productive.
Yeah, just to add, we kind of had the agreement that if things started escalating, for want of a better word, like in terms of issues, then we could just add them as owners in the file and just say, you know, any EKS Anywhere stuff can get tagged to them, and obviously they can pick them up then. But for now, it's few and far between, isn't it? So yeah, and like you say, it's really active at the moment anyway, so it's good to see.
Yeah,
some cross collaboration there.
Yeah.
Right on. Any questions about the EKS Anywhere stuff or anything else to say here? Seems like no. Marcus, time for new release.
Yep, I just thought I'd raise this, seeing as when I looked earlier, we'd had 20 new commits since the last release. One of them being the ISO updates, so that all of them are now updated and aligned and stuff like that. So I thought it might be time for us to do a new release. I also thought it'd be a good chance for Drew to do his first release, if he feels up for it.
I knew you were going there. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. It'll probably be tomorrow when I get a chance to look into it.
That's fine.
Just because I've got my manager messaging me, so I'm probably going to jump on a call with him after this, and then I'm done for the
That's
day.
fine.
But yeah, tomorrow
I'm about all tomorrow, so if you need a hand, ping me on Slack and I can help out. But we've got the docs in. We've got a releasing docs. Hopefully, is self-explanatory. Maybe give that a go first to see if there's anything that's missing that we need to add.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that'd be useful.
That's the thing. When you've done it so many times, sometimes you can just miss a point, can't you? So yeah, it's always good for someone else to eyeball it, as it were. But yeah, I'll pick that up tomorrow by all means, and if I need you, I'll give you a nudge.
Brilliant. That would be great. Thanks, Drew. Yeah,
No
that kind of feedback is really invaluable.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll do a release. And I see we had on the last one, mumble, let's make Drew a maintainer, and we have done that. So I want to congratulate Drew on being new maintainer.
Thank you very much.
For quite a while, and it's about time, and it will be very helpful.
It took about 4 different PRs and different repos to get done, but
speaking of process.
yeah, it's very
thank you very much.
Convoluted. Yeah, no, we're glad to have you. You're massive help. So
very much so, yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all we had on the agenda. But if anybody thought of anything random or non-random, the mic is yours.
No.
Is anybody at KubeCon next week?
No, unfortunately not, because of the change in my job, things kind of just went a bit wobbly there, and I didn't get a chance to actually get it all sorted. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm probably going to be virtual at best. So, which is a shame, because my wife wanted to go visit Paris while I was over there. So
yeah, would have been nice.
Yeah,
I'm not going. I think James Sturdivant, I don't think he's going. I'm not sure. He's another maintainer of Image Builder who once in a while shows up here.
Yeah, I assume it's a long way for you two to go, isn't it?
Mm.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll be there if anybody ends up about.
Cool.
I'll try and watch as much as I can online.
Yeah. That's my goal.
All right. Well, thanks everybody.
Lovely. Thanks very much,
See
everyone.
you
Take
in
care.
See you in a
Have a
couple
good
weeks.
day or evening. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so
Bye.
much.